close by the first letter of the different words. S stands for supplier, I stands for input, P stands for process, O stands for output, and C for customer, right? So supplier, input, process, output, and customer. And then within the process, again, that can be again divided into the sub-processes. So sub-process 1, sub-process 2, sub-process 3, and sub-process 4. So these are the different activities you can do. So for example, again, you assume that you are going to do a SIPOC diagram for a recruitment process. So assume that the problem there was the SLA agreed with the individual department was that the turnaround time for recruiting a new staff is only 45 days, right? But again, you are finding that over the last 6 months, whatever the transaction has been done, whatever the recruitment has been done, you are finding that the average turnaround time for recruiting a new person is coming to be 60 days, right? So that means almost 33% more than the target. Then you can take that as a Six Sigma project to reduce the turnaround time for staff recruitment from 60 days to 45 days. So in that case, you need to really understand exactly what is the process you want to improve. So you want to improve the staff recruitment process. Then for that staff recruitment process, you have to write the SIPOC diagram. So who is the supplier? The departmental head who needs the new manpower. So they are the suppliers. Input is the resource request form. So resource request form is the formal document that has to be filled by the individual department manager whenever they want to request a new resource for them. Then what is the output is the new staff to the department. That means after doing the recruitment process, the new staff will be like the output will be the new staff who are recruited and sent to the department. Customer is the person, department who has raised the invoice because he was the person who has raised the request and he is going to be the customer also, right? So what is important to us in this is the process. So in the recruitment process, what are the different activities, right? What are the different sub-processes we are doing? So that means first thing we are going to do for the approval of request, then place an advertisement, get an application, preliminary assessment of application, call for interview, selecting the candidate, offer appointment, confirmation of joining date, right? So now you know that these are the boundaries of the process to be implemented. The starting process is the approval of request, and the last one is the confirmation of joining date. Okay, now you can use this information in such a way that, say, for example, now you want to know the objective of the project is to reduce the turnaround time for the recruitment. So you know the first process is receiving the resource request form. That is the first step. Then second process is the approval of request. Third is the getting an application. Fourth is the preliminary assessment of the application. By that you can just create the what are the different sub processes, and then you can just write like when each process was started and when it ended. So that means when we got the request form, and then when it was approved, then when you place the advertisement, when you got the application, when you so like that for each and every sub process you put the dates. Then you will be able to find out what is the time gap between each of the sub process, right? So suppose if you are going to get the information, collect the data for maybe 60 or 70 different recruitments, and then you take the average, then you may find that the average, whatever the 60 days are there. So out of the 60 days, again, the calling for interview, maybe that is an activity which is taking the highest time. It is maybe taking an average of 20 days, right? Or getting application is taking the another 20 days. So like that, you'll be able to identify which are those sub processes which are creating the problem, right? Where the problem is more. Then you'll be able to focus on those areas, and then you can just get the improvement. So a SIPOC diagram is really helpful in drawing the boundaries of the process we want to improve, so that this will help you to it will be helpful for strategizing your data collection plan. So how to collect the data, what type of data you need to collect. So that information you will be able to get once you put the SIPOC diagram in place. So again, there is another example. Say for example, it is a copy editing process. So the supplier will be the pre-rating process, which is the previous process for the copy editing. Input is the pre-edited files. WMS is the workflow management system. Work instructions, log report. So these are the inputs to this process. During the copy editing, these are the different sub-processes we are doing. So download files in WMS, check instructions, editing, and upload copy edited files in. Then output will be the copy edited files, workflow management system log reports, and customer is the typesetting is the next process. So then you know that suppose now in here the problem we want to solve is you want to reduce the number of defects. So your metric says that while copy editing, you find that the average number of defects per page is 7, and you want to reduce the number of copy editing defects from 7 defects per page to 2 defects per page. So in that case, then again you try to identify like individual steps, processes, sub-processes, and which sub-process is contributing to more of the errors. Then if you find that editing is the process where you want to, you are creating more defects, then you can identify the editing to be the sub-process to be focused. So plotting a SIPOC diagram will help you to divide the process for improvement into sub-processes, collect the relevant data on the productivity or the turnaround time or the quality in the various sub-processes, and then you will be able to pick which sub-process will be the focus area in order to achieve the objectives. So normally they recommend that during the beginning of the measure phase itself, you do the fishbone diagram and you do the SIPOC diagram and you do the fishbone diagram. Then you will be able to have evolve some strategy for the data collection plan, and then you can just document the data collection plan. So Streamline flowchart is again similar to a normal process flowchart, but here the difference is that in addition to the different process steps in the sequence of how it should be done, in addition to that, we are